Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Saratech Enablement session. My name is Andrea Hall, and I'm the Customer Relationship Manager at Saratech, and I'll be your host today. Presenting today, we have Jason West, who is a Technical Manager here at Saratech, and he's going to be talking to you about part 2, about what's new in Solidedge 2019. I hope you were able to join us for part 1. If you were not, that was presented by Kelsey Safar, and you can find that recording on our YouTube channel. Next slide. Our sessions run about 30 minutes each, and they are all recorded and posted to our Saratech YouTube channel. Once you are on our channel, make sure that you check out all of our old sessions there. We meet right here twice a month. To learn about tips, tricks, new and old features that'll help you in your everyday tasks. This is an open forum, so if you have questions or comments during the presentation, please feel free to type them into the chat box, and I'll kindly interrupt the presenter and let him know your questions. And with that, I will pass the baton over to Jason. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for everyone for joining today. We're going to take a look at some of the new features coming down with Solidedge 2019. My name is Jason West. I'm the technical manager here at Saratech. I do have a background in mechanical engineering. Did engineering on different types of machinery for about 20 years before making the move over to the reseller side and supporting customers and trying to make their design possibilities enhanced with the Siemens products. My background, I have Solidedge, NX, and Team Center data management tools as a well-rounded background there. Spent many years utilizing those tools and as a customer, so I understand your position of where you're coming from. So every new release that comes out, definitely take a look at what is new, see how it can benefit your organization. Definitely reach out to us if you have any questions on how to utilize these tools. I'm going to look at one small tool here, but it has a great impact on your day-to-day use of Solidedge. So what we're going to take a look at today is in the assembly environment, we're going to look at the Auto Simplify. So utilizing Auto Simplify gives us the ability to go in and really make our assemblies a little bit more lightweight. You know, we don't have all the detail, but there's other benefits from just doing this for, you know, making our assemblies load quicker or being able to, you know, enhance our performance. You may have components, assemblies that you need to share outside of your organization. And they need these for, you know, possibly integrating into their systems or, you know, for constraining space requirements. But you don't want to share that intellectual property as well. So this also gives you the ability to strip out those features and really focus on, you know, them utilizing your piece of equipment, component, assembly, sub-assembly, but not sharing that intellectual data and having the possibility of them reverse engineering your product, right? That's your intellectual property. You want to be able to retain that. But you may have the requirements where you need to be able to share this data with someone. Over the years, Solidedge has had a lot of Simplify tools, and this is just another enhancement to make it real simple and easy. So this allows us to take multiple bodies and be able to create a single instance or a single body inside of Solidedge. We're going to be creating a simplified model. It'll take us into the modeling environment where we have the new Simplify tool, or Auto Simplify. We'll also take a look at some of the other options that have been added over the years to Solidedge, and you know, that you could utilize that maybe you haven't taken a look at, and maybe this is you know, the area where having this tool available now, is a great advancement, but then you can start to look at how we utilize the other tools. So in this case, when we go in and utilize this auto simplify, and I'm going to walk through an actual live demo of this, we're going to be able to take a look at this and move through the process of how this tool works, the options that are available in there, some of the ways you're going to work with the tool, and then also look at the simplified body that we have as an output of this. So we can choose to remove features or not remove features. So maybe we just want to generate a single body, but we still want to retain some of that detail that's in there. This tool, this auto simplify, allows us to do that with a simple click on the ribbon here to allow us to decide whether or not we want that data inside of that. You can also utilize this tool with the enclosure command, which I'll talk about a little bit here, allowing you to really decide how you want to utilize this tool, how it best works for what information you're trying to convey or trying to conceal, or you are just using it as a way to lightweight your assembly, your top level assembly, and being able to go in and utilize that without having to draw or design a new feature. So we're going to take a look at this. Take a look at a bottling machine that we have that is a Siemens customer, but I want to focus here a little bit on this bottom one. So you kind of see the item that we're going to take a look at. This is utilizing the direct auto simplify, but when it talks about utilizing the enclosure command here, is we can take a feature and say we want to enclose that in a cylinder or a box or a sphere, and really take a lot more of the detail out of it. As you can see here, this cable inlet here has utilized the enclosure command to encapsulate that area in the maximum material condition and really enhance how we utilize that tool. So let's take a jump over to Solidedge, and we can take a look at this and see how we can utilize this. So this is the customer that this is a Solidedge customer. We're going to take a look at the design here. We can see that they have some components, they have some tubing. We will go in further into some of the other enhancements as the months come. I know we've got some sessions coming up around FEMAP and other products. We will circle back around to the Solidedge side to dive deeper into some of the other enhancements that have come out with Solidedge 2019. Some of the tubing and cabling routing stuff, and the Mentor graphics acquisition and what that really brings to the table. But like I said, today we're going to focus on utilizing a feature here to simplify this. So in your designs, you may have a feature that, again, you need to share with a customer, so you need to be able to strip your intellectual property out. Or you just may have a very complex feature in your assembly, and maybe your hardware is not as new as it used to be, and performance is lagging a little bit. Now we have great tools inside of Solidedge to utilize different aspects of how to work with large assemblies. So these features with the auto simplify, they enhance the performance side, but we definitely have other tools inside of Solidedge to help with large assemblies as well. But you still may find areas where maybe you have a real complex feature, and you have 100 of them inside your assembly, and it's just really taxing your system, and you want to find a way to to better improve performance. So this is one tool we can use. So I want to dive in and take a look at this this sensor here, this feature right here. So I'm gonna find that in my tree, and what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go in and edit this. I don't want to have all the background information in there. So if I take a look at this and I want to see some of the interior features in there, I kind of want to go in and use my cut command, my clip command inside of Solidedge, so I can look at and see what data is inside there. So you can see there's some sophistication in there that we may not want to share how that information is actually working, right? We want to be able to remove those features. Now, we could go through and simplify each component, like maybe the information around these cutouts is, you know, what's really important, and the rest of it, you know, doesn't matter for our intellectual property, but we don't want people getting hold of what these features or how these features are created or what the sizes of these features are. So we could go in and individually, you know, simplify this component and removing features. But as a whole, we want to remove everything. So I'm going to go ahead and shut that back off. Now, if I go back up to my tool command, again, this is a teaching aspect as opposed to, you know, just showing the feature. We want to be able to convey this and have you use this in your assemblies. So on the tool command, the first thing that we need to do is we need to go in and say that we want to create a simplified assembly. So once we've selected that, we're going to focus now in the simplify group. We want to go to and create a model. And when we do this, first thing you see is everything kind of disappears. We're just going to hit Control Q to turn on the background. So if I was working in the context of the whole assembly and I went in to work on an individual part and I wanted to see the rest of my assembly, I could hit Control Q to turn on that background information. And just for your information, this is also on the View tab. It's right here, Hide Previous Level, and you can see that it shows that Control Q is the shortcut for that. So I want to take a look at my Home tab, because once I go into my Simplify, I say I want to work with it as a model. It creates an ordered model, and it gives us this toolbar here, or this group in our ribbon bar for Auto Simplify, which is the command we're going to talk about. Also the enclosure. So this is a real quick and easy way just to say, if I select this, I want to take this whole body and just create a box, a cylinder, inside cylinder or outside cylinder for that feature. So maybe I want to create an outside cylinder of this, and I go ahead and accept that. I pick my outside cylinder, what plane. Now, you can see that it tried to encompass that. So one thing that you need to do is really focus on which plane you're selecting on. For which way do you want the rotation to be. And for this one, that is how we actually want that feature. But again, this is a tool that was added in a few releases back, so I'm actually going to undo that because we want to talk about the new command that we have. So I'm going to just unselect that. So I'm going to go back and focus on the Auto Simplify and kind of talk about how that tool works. If we take a look at the toolbar here, we can see we have our select component. We also have our remove features. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off for a minute. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to window select all my components, make sure I have them all. And then I'm just going to right click to process that. Now, if we take a look at this, I'm going to turn off previous level just so we can kind of see this. But I'm going to go back in and turn on my cutting plane so we can see what we have. Now, you can see that it's taken most of this information out, but it still leaves some of the features in there. And the reason that the features are still in there is because I didn't have the remove feature items selected. So this gives us the ability to have a single body that we can utilize in our assemblies. And this is great if you're trying to do this internally and you don't have to worry about the intellectual property being shared, but you want a lightweight model in your assembly. So you can utilize this feature. You still have the information and a lot of the visual cues of what this component is, but now you have a single body instead of having all the individual components loading in. Now, we have to share this outside, so now I'm going to go ahead and process this with the remove features. And now you can see that it's turned into a solid body. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And now you can see that everything has been defeatured to provide the minimal amount of information. So your client, your customer, your end user can utilize this model, but not know or be able to reverse engineer anything that's inside of this. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that. I'm going to close and return this. So I have both models in here. So what I want to do now is I just want to go back to my design feature. I have this simplified assembly in here. And one way we can use this is I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'm going to save this item. And I'm going to go back into my top level assembly where I can go in and say that I want to use simplified components. So I want to turn that on. I want to go in and also use simplified assemblies. So now you can see that that item has changed out, and I now have a lightweight version inside my assembly of that feature. Again, this enhances performance when you're using it internally. If I had, if this was a very complex component, it would be able to, utilize the lightweight of this and be able to open up this file a lot quicker. And it doesn't have to be just a subcomponent of this assembly or of an assembly. We can do this with a complete top-level assembly as well. So if I go back into my, yes.
We have a question.
Oh, yes.
Okay, from Scott. He says, is mass and COG of the assembly the same for the simplified version after features have been removed?
So if I remember correctly, when you do that, it will take the actual model data as opposed to the simplified component. So when it goes and processes it, it's going to utilize the actual model design. Now, one thing that you have to be aware of is if you have, say, this component outside, you simplify it, and you just bring in the simplified body, so you go in and you save out just the body, then it's not going to give you the correct center of gravity and density. So do keep that in mind. If you're simplifying a component inside your assembly, then you're going to be able to process it, and it's going to process the as designed component. And if you want to make sure that it's doing a test, again, this I haven't done that in a few years, but as far as I remember, I haven't tried it with this auto simplify, but you would just come up to your top level assembly and say use design components before utilizing that. But if you did do that outside and you brought just that simplified model in, then the density is not going to be correct for that component. Unless you go in and you run information on what the density of that part is, and then you apply that as a material with that density to that component. So that way, say you have that in 100 locations, you put that material in with that density for that component. So when you do run it with the simplified part in it, because it's at that point it's not a simplified component, it's the component that you brought in, it would have the correct mass for your top level assembly. So hope that helps, Scott. A couple different ways to take a look at that. And if you're seeing any different results, please reach out and we can run some tests. But from everything that I can think of right off the top of my head, that's the way that it's going to work. Was there any other questions at this time, or?
Let me see. Yes, one other one. Can you simplify all of the components in your assembly?
So yes, you could. And that's kind of what I was going to do here.
Okay, perfect.
I was going to go in and simplify my whole assembly. So maybe I need to pass this off, or maybe, I can utilize this for just space relationships. So maybe I'm designing furniture or equipment that's going in a facility, and they don't need that data, right? So I can go in and simplify the whole top level assembly and be able to hand that off or use that. Maybe I need to put 50 machines next to each other, and I don't want to have full machines. So maybe I load one machine in as designed, and then the rest are just simplified versions of that.
Okay.
Other questions?
I think that's it for now.
Okay, very good. So I'm just gonna again set a clipping plane on this so I can take a look, so we can take a look and see, all the interior features here. Again, this isn't limited to just components inside the assembly. So I'm going to go into the same process. I'm going to go in and create to my tools tab in my model group and say simplify. Then I'm going to go over to my simplify group and say model. And when I do that, again, everything hides. So I can hit Control Q, or I can come up and say show previous level. So when I do this, I want to, again, go back to my home tab. I'm going to say auto simplify. And this time we know we're going to remove all the features. So I'm just going to go in, select everything. I can right click on my mouse so I don't have to travel my mouse up to the green check mark. Or if you're accustomed to, you can just go up and hit your green check mark. I'm going to hit finish. Then I'm going to turn off my previous level just so I don't have that information. And then just to verify, I'm going to go back in and show everyone clipping my clipping plane to see that everything has been removed. So this is a great advancement for Solidedge. This allows us to really keep our design shape, but remove all of our interior components. So if you've utilized these tools in the past, like I was looking at earlier with the enclosure, this got us pretty close. If I look at this this feature here, and I'm in my simplified assembly, so I want to actually undo this just so I can talk about this a little bit more. But if I go to my enclosure, I say that I want outside cylinder, and I select this area here. Everything's great here until I really need to go in and take a look at actually creating my cylinder. Oops, again, went in and selected my wrong. I want the center axis here. So I go in and set that, and I really lose what that feature was, right? It's taking the maximum material condition and making sure that this circle, this box cylinder is outside that diameter. If I would have selected inside, it would have been a little smaller, but still, I lose what is there. Now, it's a great tool, great for, removing a lot of data as far as what that feature was, but I lose kind of what the look and feel of what that was. So utilizing this auto simplify, I'm able to gain my outside image without distorting it, and then being able to remove all the interior features. So going in and going back over to our presentation just to wrap up here. So in summary, what are the ways that this tool could benefit you and how, best to utilize this? Again, for lightweighting models, assemblies, being able to enhance performance, retain your IP when you have to, your intellectual property when you have to share this data outside your organization, and then faster load times with your assemblies and being able to rotate around. Again, not everybody can have new hardware. We have to rely on what tools we have. So sometimes, we're looking for that little bit of edge there to help our performance, help us be able to design quicker. And this is a tool that could certainly help you. Andrea, is there any other questions?
One more question. Do you want to simplify every part or some assembly in your main assembly?
So again, it goes back to what your real design intent is. If you're taking a large component and you just need to have it somewhere to make sure you have the space or make sure there's no other interferences, definitely do the top level assembly. If you're just trying to, enhance performance, then focus on the features that maybe you have a lot of those components inside your assembly, or they're very complex components, and utilize this tool to simplify those.
Okay. Yep, and that's all the questions we have so far.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Jason. Great job. And if you guys have any questions or comments that you weren't able to ask today, you can type them into the little survey we have right after the session. Sorry, Jason, did you have one more thing to say?
Nope. I was just going to say I hand it back off to you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So our next session, we're still working on the content for that, but we are going to be presenting what's new in FEMAP. I know a lot of you Solidedge users are also familiar with FEMAP, so please make sure that you come and join us for that. Dan Nadeau will be presenting on September 6th. Also very exciting, we have Solidedge University 2018 coming up in Orlando, Florida, my hometown. It is coming up next Thursday, August 23rd from 9 to 5. If you are a Saratech customer, we're able to waive the $99 ticket. So if you are able to attend, please reach out to us at marketing@saratech.com. If you are not a current customer, then and you would still like to see if you're able to get that fee waived, we do have some seats available and we may be able to do that for you. So either way, just reach out to us at marketing@saratech.com. We'll be able to help you out and lunch will be served. And for those of you that are not aware, we offer many other things other than Siemens software at Saratech. Lots of wonderful things going on in our engineering services department. We are here to help you address your demand for advanced engineering capabilities. Also very exciting in our additive manufacturing department. Lots of 3D printers going out the door here lately. And we work with different companies such as Markforged, HP, and Big Rep. So if you're interested in learning more about that, please let us know. And thank you so much for attending. Like I said, please stick around just for 30 seconds afterwards. We will have a quick little survey. Let us know how we did today. We always appreciate you attending. And we will be sending out the recording to you probably today or tomorrow. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.